Hey YouTube, it's Rob at Z Motorsports. Alright, since I first posted up the LED shift indicator on my 06 Eclipse, I've had requests from a bunch of different people, all with different cars, and want to know if I could create a shift indicator for them, or if this one would work on their car. So what I'm doing is this video will show you how to look at your shifter so we can work out if this shifter, this gear indicator will work on yours, or if I need to do some modifying of the program and the number of sensors / detectors that I send you, so you can get this to work in yours. The 7-segment display, that's generic, that'll work in anybody's. The sensors are generic, it's just how many sensors there are. So anyways, let me show you how mine works, and I'll tell you what I need from y'all and what you need to figure out, so we know if this one will work, or I need to do some changes up for yours. Anyways, this is an 06 Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's got a 6-speed manual transmission. So I've got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse, pull up, over, and up. Okay? On the 06 Eclipse, it's got 2 shift cables that go from here up to the transmission. Cars are going to have a variation of that. I know my son has a Honda. His has a single cable or a single linkage going up, but basically it does the same thing what this one's doing. So the basics on this. As we know, a shifter, this is my shift lever here. As I take that and I push it into first gear, you notice the bottom moves away. If I pull it back into second, the bottom will move the opposite direction. So if I'm going into first, it's coming back. If I'm going into second, it's going forward. Same way with third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. All the cable underneath here is doing is going forwards and backwards. Okay? So this is actually a 2-position switch if you want. Okay? Position 1, position 2. Center, neutral is no position. Okay? So just think of this as a switch. 1, 2. Center is 0. We're not using it at all. So on mine, I've got a sensor here, and then I've got a sensor here. It detects these magnets, so as the magnets get close to it, it reads it. Now it doesn't matter whether if I'm in first, second, or first, third, or fifth, that magnet will see, that sensor will see that magnet. Okay? Same way if I'm in second, fourth, or sixth, that sensor sees it. So again, switch, switch. So there's 2 positions right there. Now for the second cable, if you watch this little lever on the side here, it goes down and it ties into that cable way down there. If I come over into first or second, as I push over to the side, you notice it pushes on that cable. It pushes it up just a little bit. So there's, in the center, it's at what we call its neutral position. Okay? And then when we come over, so there's 1, 2, 3 locations for that particular, but there's still, if I pull up and come over further into reverse, it goes even further. So we've got 1 position, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so down under there, and I'm not going to take my whole dash apart, so let's see if I can get down there where you can see this. See, these wires right here are going down to 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 sensors down there, and I've got a magnet mounted up on the underside of this assembly right here that ties into the bottom of this linkage. So for my car to tell me what gear it's in, it's using 2 of these switches at any one time. So if I go up and into first, it's picking up a sensor down there, and it's picking up this one. If I pull back into second, notice I'm only moving this location. If I pull it back into second, that one stays the same, but now I've come back here. So I'm using the same sensor down there, but now a second one here. Okay, so basically I've got it saying if it sees that sensor, let's call it B, and it sees 1, it's going to tell me it's in first. If it's in B2, it's in second. But now if I come over into the center position and I push up, I'm in actually third now. Still in 1, but now this has moved back, and let's call that position C. So if I'm in C1, it's going to light up and tell me I'm in third gear. As I pull this back, watch that side. That side does not move. So now I'm still in C, but now I'm on 2. So if the program is saying C2, it's going to say I'm in fourth gear. So when you're looking at your shifter assembly, you need to just figure out how many sensors you're going to need and which ones are operated for which gear. If it's similar to this one where you've got one on the side that's giving you 4 of them, and it doesn't matter if you have to come all the way over to the left or over all the way to the right rather than going to the left like I do, okay, it doesn't matter. That would still be 4 positions here. Okay, I mentioned earlier my son's got a Honda that's only got a single cable up. Well, as he turns his, it's still got the forward and back, but it twists that cable or that linkage. It's a solid linkage. So his does basically the same thing. With that one, what we would end up wanting to do is putting a magnet on the underside. Let me get my pen back out. On the bottom side, right here, put a magnet there and then put the sensors where it detects it there. The reason I didn't do that on mine, and you probably won't be able to see it, is the bottom of mine, since it's that loose cable, where it mounts on that bottom, let's say my finger is the cable, it can actually pivot back and forth. I'm not showing it real well here. Okay, let's say this is the bottom of my shifter. Where that cable's tied in, it's on a ball mount, so it rolls back and forth. Okay, well, I was getting so much roll back and forth on it that because of that roll, I could not get it to stay over the top of the sensor down below. Maybe with some work I could have, but this was a better and quicker fix for me. Now it doesn't need to see this entire size magnet. Matter of fact, the magnet I've got under here, I've actually cut, and it's just a sliver of a magnet because these sensors need to be so close together. So that's also a possibility. You don't have to use such a large diameter magnet. You can use a smaller diameter magnet. If you notice this one on the front, I've got a rare earth magnet because that part of the shift doesn't go as far forward. With it not going as far forward, I need it a little bit broader. Sorry, I got my camera all the way. A little broader, and those rare earth magnets send a bigger magnetic field out. So if you've got a 5-speed or a 4-speed, or yours operates different, what I need to know is how yours operates if you've got a couple cables, and which ones operate based on what gear you're in. And then I can write the program for that. Okay, and then I'll just make sure to send you the proper number of sensors, whether you need 4 sensors, 6 sensors, 8 sensors, whatever number of sensors you need based on the program, the way it needs to be written. I'll send you that number of sensors and resistors for that, for the same price. The resistors and sensors aren't that expensive. The expensive part's the program board and the 7-segment display. The resistors and the sensors are not going to affect the price on it anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this, and I'll see if it picks me back up, and I'm going to go into the little drawing that I did. Okay, well, it looks like my phone actually let me do that. Alright, so here is how mine's laid out. Okay, so I've got the 3 sensors here, and then I've got sensors here. Now you notice that they look reversed. It's because I wrote them up. If I go up over and up into first, it showed where my sensors were. Anyways, what you do is you write out all your gears, okay, and you already know whether you've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many you've got, and you write down all the positions. I enabled mine A through F, then put it in first gear, and then in your mind say, okay, if I was in first gear, which one of those positions would I be? Well, mine was B and F, because when I pushed over to first, this went forward 1 notch, okay, and when I pulled it down, it contacted, or when I pushed it forward, it contacted F, so I was B and F. So I put an X in B and F, told me I needed sensors B and F in my program. Do that for every one of the gears, okay? This is the info that I need, basically right here. Once I've got this, I can build the program off of that. So if you want me to do you up a shifter for your particular car, no matter what it is, work out this information. If you've got any questions, message me, send me an email at thestarfinder@yahoo.com. If I need to, I'll give you my phone number and we'll work it out. With this information, I can program up the circuit board and send you the proper number of sensors so that you can actually have this shifter in your car. Got any questions? Give me a shout. Hope this helps. Thanks.